Well, a lot of long road trips, bus rides home this year. A lot of time to reflect and to think and sit in your silence and try to figure things out. We are a program that practices on Sunday. I know a lot of teams play Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday, Saturday. We always practice on Sunday because we feel like there's no distractions from class. We can watch film as long as we want to. We can practice for a little bit, not too hard, and then we can lift. And there's 2 Sundays of the season on January, and in January and February we don't practice on Sunday. And yesterday was one of them. Play until next Saturday versus Sanford. And I've been thinking a lot about how I've handled this year personally, professionally, whatever you want to say. And normally on a Sunday like yesterday, I would allow myself to relax and maybe watch a Netflix movie at night. But Brian, as my witness, I texted him about, 4 or 5 times yesterday, and I said, send me this, send me this, send me this, send me this. And then this morning I waited till 8 a.m. to text him again and say, send me this, because what my job is to figure this out. And when we're close, like I feel like we can play with anybody in the conference, but we're not winning. And so when you're close, you have to nitpick, or at least I do, nitpick every little detail. Why is this player playing great on Thursday and not playing well on Saturday? Why is this player playing not well on Thursday and why is she playing okay on Saturday? Do I have the right starting lineup? Am I playing the right people at the end of the game? Show me so-and-so stats from last year. How did she do last year in conference versus this year? Why are we not getting more, whatever? And so that's how I'm spending my time. And it's no fun. If there's a sore loser in the room, you're looking at it. But, at the same time, as the leader of this program, you have to just keep trying to figure it out. Do I think that we can beat anybody in the conference? Yes, absolutely. But, there's a but in there, and that's what I've got to figure out. And we got about, 1 more month to figure this out.
Do you think this team feels that they can beat anyone in the conference right now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think that, anytime you play, how many close games have we had? It was one possession game, and it's like one possession. And I'm not going to do this to them, but, they are going to watch the game by themselves tomorrow and without any coaches and take notes and then share with us. Because they've got to see, are they as an individual helping us win? Like, what did you do to help us win? And, you can take any possession, end of the game, beginning of the game, doesn't matter. Free throw, I don't know, I can't remember. They run together, but, we missed 6 free throws in the game. We lost by 1, but they're still fine. They recover very quickly. But it's getting old. I'm not gonna lie, it's getting old. But it's like I said, it's my job to keep building and keep figuring out. Right now, Stacy. I'm used to having players, and I can look at other teams across the conference. Like, I know this player is going to play how she's going to play in this game. And this year, quite honestly, Stacy has probably been the most consistent player. Like, what am I going to get out of these 5? And then when I bring this person off the bench, what am I going to get out of this person? I say Stacy has been the most consistent, and then Keontae, in that she's more of a defensive player, and she brings her defense and rebounding every game. But other than that, it's I'm not sure. So, and that's tough. It's tough to formulate a game plan in your mind when you're not sure who's going to have a good game.
Kind of to that point, do you feel like there's a sense that, when someone's not having their best night, is there a sense that amongst this team right now that there is the ability for somebody else to step in and, off the court, just from a locker room perspective, like, hey, I got your back kind of thing? Do you think is that like a shared feeling right now?
I think that's, honestly, I'm not trying to be a smart, I think that's more of a player question. I can't tell you what their hearts and their minds say. I think the only way I can answer that is by their actions. I can't tell you what they're thinking, but all I can do is maybe if this person's not playing well, try someone else and then see if they bring, and everyone has different gifts. Everyone doesn't have the same role, and we talked about that a little bit for a second about what's your role. You know, if you're not shooting the ball well, if you have 3 roles, and one is to shoot, and you're not shooting well, are you doing the other 2, or is that taken away from what your gift is? And I think sometimes, quite honestly, people get too caught up in scoring. You know, too caught up in scoring, and when they're not scoring, they're not doing anything else well. And so I've got to consider that when I make some of these decisions too.
On the right side, for Deja to go, you know, toe to toe with Rachel Rose the way she did, you know, obviously, you know, couldn't follow it up against Furman, but to see Deja have that kind of night, at the very least, I mean, to be peaking at the right time when you get to March and to know that's in your back pocket, how you know, refreshing was that to see for you against a team like Walker?
It was refreshing on Thursday, but then, as we said, and I didn't call any names, but you just called names. It wasn't there on Saturday. So that's the therein that lies the dilemma of which person is going to show up Thursday to Saturday. Quite honestly, who's going to show up this coming up Saturday? You know, this week of practice is and I'm going to challenge them this day. You know, we're going to challenge each other. You know, Aspen was out. Aspen didn't play. She didn't travel with us. She was sick. I'm meeting with her as soon as we get off, and I'm going to rebound for her and talk to her and talk her up because I think she can play. You know, but you know, I watched the UConn Notre Dame game on the bus ride home, and if you look at the box score, I mean, some of those guys play 40 minutes for both those teams, and those are all Americans. So maybe I need to consider that as well. I've done that before here, so you know, I'm gonna figure out who wants to compete and who cares more about winning than their own stats, and we're going to get this figured out hopefully this week, because it's going to be some soul searching as well.
Last thing for me, you know, you get these long stretches without a game over the course of the SoCon season. You know, this of course being one of them. Do you kind of alluded to it already, but how much time is spent on the court this week versus just sitting down?
I think a lot of it depends on the year that you're having. Mm-hmm. You know, the year we were 30-3, if you know, we're on that 27-game winning streak, man, we'll practice 45 minutes and call it a day. Get some free throws up, and we'll be fine. This team is still searching. I'm still searching, man. I'm still searching for the right starting lineup. So every year is different. You have to juggle each year and figure out where are they in the process. You know, I was thinking about this. I keep talking to this team about the history of our program, and you know, the winning to, and I started thinking that yesterday. I'm like, you know what, these kids, my whole starting line, they don't care. I mean, they're international. They never heard of Mercer. Deja's from Los Angeles, never heard of, you know, Bree's from Houston. These new players, Stacy knew because she's down the street. Ashley knew because she's from Georgia, and Mackenzie knew because she wanted to come here at a high school. But the rest of these guys do not care about the history of this program. So my challenge is to get them to say, okay, what's your legacy going to be? And that's what I'm going to talk to them about on Tuesday. I'm going to talk about 2018, 2019, 21, 20. I'm going to tell them about each of those years and what those teams were defined by. I'm not going to bore y'all with that, but I'm going to tell them about each year. I'll be, okay, y'all don't care about that stuff, that's fine. But what are people going to say about the 2024 team? And if they don't care about the history, that's fine. But surely they care about themselves. So that's the angle that I'm taking tomorrow.
Susie, were you encouraged that in the last two games that you put teams put in different situations? The Bethune game, you were worried about not being able to finish, but this team showed you last week that they're not going to stop fighting in the fourth quarter either. Were you encouraged by that?
You know, I'm encouraged by a lot of stuff, quite honestly. I know I'm not exuding that out loud. There is a lot of encouragement. There's a lot of things. We are getting better. You know, we are getting better. There's many things that I see that we're getting better at. But championship programs win the close game. I mean, they just know how to win. They know. I know that if it's a close game with Wofford, the ball is going to be in Rachel Rose's hands. I know that. I know if it's a close game with Chat, who the ball's hands going to. They got two options at Chat, and that's the difference. And you know, our best games when we won by a lot. our last 2 home games because we didn't have to worry about the other stuff. But right now, I'm looking at the bench during a timeout. Okay, who wants it? Who wants it? And that's the tricky part with this team right now because no one has stepped up as give me the ball. Give me the ball, you know. So, I think we are getting better, but, you know, there comes a point in time when the fruits of your labor, you want to reap what you sow a little bit, you know. But, you know, I grew up as a shooter. I was a great shooter. I know what it takes to put hard work in, and we're going to keep grinding, and these players are going to keep working, and, you know, all I can say is that, hey, at the end of this season, wherever we land, we can be champions. We could be, hey, you know what? We're going to say, hey, we gave it all we had for myself and these kids, and I'm not going to let them woulda, shoulda, coulda. So hopefully, as we keep growing and we keep grinding, and fortunately we do have, you know, we finished the year with some home games. Hopefully we can end on an upbeat and being in the right direction come March.